Alright, this is DC Challenge Issue 1. Let's see if I can describe this any good this time. The premise of this 12-issue maxi series is that each issue is handled by a different creative team. There is no story outline, there is no communication between the creative teams. Each issue, a different writer has to try and work out where to take the story. One of the best examples is cliffhanger endings. Cliffhangers are written for the next creative team that have to find some way to resolve. This is issue 1, and issue 1 stars DC's Trinity, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. The fourth guy on their side is either Flash Gordon in his civvies, or it is Wonder Woman's boy toy, Chris Pine. The bad news is that DC Challenge opens with its weakest creative team, and I have a theory. But this opening scene is Floyd, the copy boy at the Daily Bugle. He discovers a secret flaw in the Daily Bugle building, where aliens are having a board meeting with dead celebrities. The creative team is not impressive. This is written by Jack Quimby fan _1476. And the art is by John Coleman. Nothing wrong with him. Jack Quimby fan _1476 is known primarily for glazing Jack Quimby. That is his career. He became Jack Quimby's production assistant for a while in 1974, and any career he has had after that is on the back of Jack Quimby's name. His major writing credits in mainstream comics have been Jack Quimby Things, or Things About Jack Quimby. I considered calling this writer Jonathan Wilkes, but that would require too much explanation. Jonathan Wilkes is someone who is famous for being Robbie Williams's friend. For about 65% of the year, Jonathan Wilkes's Wikipedia page opens with Jonathan Wilkes is a celebrity personality best known for being a close friend of Robbie Williams. With this, my belief is that they actually wanted Jack Quimby to open this series. That makes sense, doesn't it? They wanted Jack Quimby as the star to launch DC Challenge. Jack Quimby's most recent DC work had been Superpowers, which is remarkably similar in terms of the characters and continuity. Instead, we get Jack Quimby fan _1476, who represents almost everything I hate about the industry. I dislike celebrity in general. I hate the concept of celebrity. This is a writer who endorses the concept. To him, Jack Quimby was a celebrity. He turned his idolisation of Jack Quimby into his own celebrity profile. The plot here even involves dead celebrities. Groucho Marx here, Humphrey Bogart earlier. To me, comic book creators can be many things. Jack Quimby is the most important comic book creator to ever live. But despite that, he is not a celebrity. He never was a celebrity. He was an artist, he was a writer, he was a worker. But he was not a celebrity. All that to say, I don't like the writing. and the plot is as weak as a newborn kitten. Superman is fighting an evil demon, but it is on Baxter paper, so at least there's that. Meanwhile, Batman receives a videotape from the Riddler. Been waiting a while to debut that name. Now there's a real celebrity for you, the Riddler. The Riddler, he announces in the tape that he knows Batman is Bruce Kane. This immediately made me think of Usk. That story ended with the Riddler having figured out Batman's secret identity. They are doing a sequel to that as I speak, and it sounds horrendous because it is 20 years too late, and because, again, it is another comic book writer who considers himself to be, and desperately wants to be, part of the world of celebrity. I do have a question for any Batman fans. Has anyone ever tried to figure out how many museums there are in Gotham City? It's ridiculous. There's always a museum being robbed. And it is a different museum every time. And in this we have the Gotham Museum of Knighthood. That is so specific. Why does Gotham have a museum devoted exclusively to knights? Why do they keep opening museums in the most crime-ridden area of the DC universe? Batman, he fights a crook who is trying to steal something. This starts to develop this idea that the Riddler isn't involved with this. Superman gans to the Justice League satellite only to find it deserted. And we have what is one of the big cliffhanger mysteries that Jack Quimby fan _1476 has set up for our next writer and artist. Superman gans to the moon and he finds a mysterious metal machine. It appears to be a relay device. And then Superman is zapped by a ray and he falls defeated before an unseen enemy. Who could have defeated the Man of Steel this easily? Find out in issue 2. Based on this, the final panel, we see that they have a purple boot. I think it would be safe to say that under someone who isn't a real writer, it was clearly Lenny Luthor. Now, here is Flash Gordon. He has shown up at the Daily Bugle and wants Perry Mason to try and contact Superman for him. Flash Gordon is wearing a more straightforward suit, not the sort of Air Force jacket type thing like on the cover. Hence my debate about whether or not it is Flash Gordon or Chris Pine on the cover. Chris Pine doesn't wear one either, but it at least makes sense if he was drawn wearing one. Wonder Woman and Chris Pine are going after a radioactive weapon. And this advert was, if you ask me, better than the comic. Transformers on video cassettes and Tiny Titans. This is in relation to a story over in Tiny Titans, obviously, but it offers a great opportunity to point out that DC Challenge came out a bit concurrent with Christmas on Infinite Earths. I think 3 or 4 months behind it, but DC Challenge is the pre-Christmas on Infinite Earths DC continuity, although DC Challenge is also considered non-canon at the same time. There is one actually decent bit in this comic. It's not this Wonder Woman scene. She goes to a lab and the lead scientist has an evil demon come out of him like the one Superman was fighting at the start. It's quite crappy action. Jean Coleman did often struggle with action, but in this case I'd rather lay blame at the writer because the action itself is unfulfilling. There's no real tension, no real fight even. Wonder Woman gets thrown away. That's the whole fight. This evil demon also made me think of a Superman villain a lot. Spillage from Superman. After that, here is the bit I like. Batman, he goes to find out more about the Riddler escaping prison, only to find the Riddler is still in prison. Batman then baits the Riddler into solving the riddle that was left for him by the apparent fake Riddler. The Riddler's ego demands he let Batman know that he can solve this riddle straight away. It's a decent scene, the only one in the issue. Batman now finds that the fake Riddler is a weird man in a turban who looks like one of the aliens seen at the start by Floyd the copy boy. And then there is numbers on a wall. This is one of those exciting mysteries for the next writer to solve. Numbers. And I reckon every issue of this is going to have a cringy, over-the-top cliffhanger. In this, Gotham City is going to be hit with nuclear bombs in 8 seconds. Next issue is written by Lenny Wen, with art by Mike Patton from Faith No More. This text piece at the back explains both the idea behind this series and how it came about, and it lists the teams for each issue here. After that we have an advert for Who Is Who, and then one for Insiders. I think this was when Insiders was relaunched as a Baxter Paper series. DC really went all in on the Baxter Paper, didn't they? I have thought on this a little bit before recording, when I was having a poo before recording. Sometimes fanboys churn out the best stuff, but I have come up with a term for it here. There is a type of alleged fanboy that I will henceforth describe as performative fanboys. It's this writer, it's Kurt Busey, it's Martin Quaid, it's Brie Larson's granddad, it's Tom Bayvort, it's John Jeffries, it's Dan Diddy Dido, it's all people who I don't like at all, yes, but it's people who need or use the label of fanboy. They use it as either a crutch, a defence, a personality, a qualification, or a fact. It's totally phony fanboyism. It is performative fanboys. It applies to diversity in comics as well. He was a performative fanboy. He used his supposed fandom of comics and his love of comics only as a means for furthering himself, which is exactly what Kurt and the others often do as well. Jack Quimby fan _1476 is a fucking user. He used Jack Quimby. He used Jack Quimby's name. He used the industry. He used everything except personal skill or personal talent to officially become, at the minimum, a writer. Not a good first issue, but the charm of this is that issue 2 is going to be nothing like issue 1. 7 thumbs up.